Welcome back to my channel, you guys. It is Casey from Crochet with Casey, and today we are making Skeleton King. This has been a long awaited pattern, so here we are, and make sure you like and subscribe because every single Friday for now, it might be Tuesdays and Fridays coming soon, we will have a new pattern drop. What we are going to need is loops and threads. I'm using Chanel Home Slim this time, but I prefer loops and threads, Sweet Snuggles Lite, but I do mix and match the two. But get loops and threads, Sweet Snuggles Lite, and a 5mm hook. Then you're also going to want to have a darning needle, some felt so you can make the eyeballs, scissors, black cotton yarn, white cotton yarn, and some polyfill. So we're going to make the magic circle. If you guys don't know what that is, it's where this is how I like to do it. I pinch it between my fingers and I make an X. And then you're gonna go underneath both of these. And then you're gonna hook that top one and pull it through. And then you're gonna do that again, hook that top one and then pull it through. And then that is the beginning of your magic circle. Inside of this circle, we are going to do 8 single stitches. So here is, ooh, I'm holding everything funny. Okay, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and then pull it tight. Now we are going to do 8 increases all the way around until we get 16 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. It just did not want to give up that yarn. We're going to go around 8 times now. We're going to do a single stitch and an increase all the way around until we get 24 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and now 24. So now we are going to be doing row number 4, and we are going to be doing 2 single stitches and an increase 8 times until we get 32 single stitches. So there's 1, 2 single stitches. Now we're going to do an increase, 3, 4, go back to single stitches, 1, 2, and then increase, 3, 4, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, oops, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Okay, so double check that you have 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Okay, so now for 6 rows, rows 5 through 10, we are going to be doing 32 single stitches. The way I'm going to count it, if you don't like it, which is totally fine, skip ahead, or pause me, skip ahead, do whatever you need to do. But I am just going to count to 192 because that's how many stitches there are. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Okay, second half, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, and 92. We did it! We are doing round number 11, which is 2 single stitches and 1 decrease, and 8 times until we get 24 single stitches. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and then 24. Row number 12, we're going to be doing a single stitch and then a decrease 8 times until we get 16 stitches all the way around. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Row number 13 is going to be worked only in the front loop. We are going to be doing 16 single stitches. So there's 1, 2, and the last stitch we are going to be color changing. I believe that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and last one, I believe. Okay, so now we are going to do row number 14, and in order to do row number 14, I like to flip it inside out. That way the unworked back loops that we did from row 12 that is setting us up will be able to pop out, and we are going to be doing 16 increases, and we are going to be ending this round with 32. And I do apologize, since I had to change scenery, it is now the middle of the night and the baby is very, very much not wanting to go to bed. So I am no longer going to count for the rest of this video just for the sake of not telling you the wrong stitches, but I will come in every so often with a voice memo and tell you what we are doing. So make sure we are going to end with 32 stitches. Okay, so now that we finished row 14, flip it right side in. I like to just do that so it's easier. And then now we are going to stuff. Don't stuff it all the way, just stuff it enough. But I don't want you to get all of like the polyfill in the way as we are doing row 6 or 15. And just so I know later on, if you like when I count with the video so you can count along with me, let me know please in the comments and I will make sure that I don't do it again while the baby's awake. And now we are doing row number 15, which is 3 single stitches. And then we are going to do an increase, and we're going to do that 8 times, and we're going to end with 40 stitches in total. And that is the last time we are going to be increasing on the body. And since this is the last time we are increasing, please make sure you actually have 40 single stitches. If you are working with a stitch marker, even better, but still double check that you have 40 single stitches. Okay, so now rows 16 through 21, we are going to do 6 rounds of 40 single crochet. The way I count is literally like I just count to 240 because that's how many stitches there are. So I count 100 and then I count another 100 and then I count 40. So I'm going to play the rest of this clip of me doing his head, so you can either crochet with me. If you don't want to crochet with me, you can pause and then skip ahead. I am going to try to figure out how to add in chapters, so you should see the skip now button. Okay, so now we are going to do round 22, and it is 3 single crochet with a decrease, and we're doing that 8 times to get 32 stitches. Okay, so now on to the next round, which is round 23. We are going to be doing 2 single crochet and a decrease, again 8 times, and we should be ending with 24 single stitches. Okay, so row 24, we are now going to do a single stitch and a decrease 8 times, and we are going to be ending with 16 single crochet. And now stuff the head. I do like to stuff a little bit more down into the body first, and then I stuff the head. And then we will be stuffing a little bit more after the last round, after our decreases, just because I like to make sure everything is nice and firm. Okay, so row 25, we are just doing 8 decreases, and then make sure you stuff a little bit more if needed. If also you would rather be doing invisible decreases, go ahead and do that. I personally don't, just because I always forget about them. And make sure you fasten off and weave in the ends. Since I am very new to YouTube, if you guys know how to add in music in the background or anything like that, either DM me on Instagram or let me know in the comments, because I would love to have background music that won't give me copyright. Please. It's a little boring without the music. And there you have it. Here is Skeleton King's body, and now we're going to move on to his arms. So with his arms, we're again doing a magic circle, and now we are going to crochet 6 single crochet into the magic ring, or in the magic circle, whichever one you want to call it. And this is the only time we're going to increase in his arm, which row 2 is going to be a single stitch and an increase 3 times until we get 9 single stitches. We are going to color change on the very last single stitch, but we are not doing like a normal color change. We're going to do what I like to call, I don't even know if it's the proper term or not, but I call it an invisible color change. So round number 3, we are doing 9 single crochet with an invisible color change, and how you do that is when you originally pull through, you're going to pull the white through, and then you're going to yarn over with the black. And that was 2, so number 3 now, we are going to go through, you're going to pull the white through, and then yarn over with the black for 3, and then again through the stitch, yarn over with the white, pull it through, and then yarn over with the black, and then you're going to continue to do that for this whole round, and then we are going to fasten off with the white, like just snip it, and then we are going to do the next round all in black. And like I said earlier, you guys, I am fighting my daughter in the middle of the night trying to get this video going for y'all. And here's a little photo bomber here with her toes. She really, really, really wanted to try to get Skeleton King's body so she can hug it. And don't worry, I gave her the little witch that I had. Okay, so row number 4, we are working in the front loops only from row 3, and we're doing 9 single crochet. And now for row number 5, we're working in the unworked back loops from row number 3, and we are also going to be doing 9 single crochet. If you wanted to use a stitch marker, I should have said this earlier, it would be easier to find these. I honestly don't, just because they do pop up a little bit. They are also black, but just so you know, they do pop up a little bit if you don't want to use a stitch marker. And the reason why I like to do this invisible stitch is if you pull up on it, it's very, very minimal of white peeking through, just because I don't want so much of the white peeking through underneath, because it's his hand color, you know, I want his shirt to be on top of it. And now row number 6, we are doing 9 single crochet, and this is the last time we are doing any rounds on this hand, and you want to make 2 of the arms. So make sure that you rewind this part of the arm. You can go in the description below and poke arm, and it will just go straight back to it, so you don't have to scroll through and find it. But make sure you make 2 of these little arms for him, and then we are going to leave a long tail and sew onto the body. Also, before starting the other arm, I do like to stuff the arms just so I don't have to stuff them later, but that's optional. If you want to stuff them later, totally up to you. And now we are going to work on his feet. So we also do a magic circle. And inside that magic circle, you are going to be doing 5 increases. And for row number 2, we are going to be doing 5 increases, and we are going to be ending with 10 stitches for this round. Okay, so now for row number 3, we are going to be doing 2 single crochet and then 1 increase 3 times. That's going to get us 12 stitches, and then we're going to add 1 more single stitch at the end of it. So we're ending the whole row with 13 single stitches. Okay, so for row number 4, we are going to be doing 3 single stitches, 3 decreases, and then 4 single stitches all the way around. So we are going to be getting 10 stitches at the very end of this round. So now we are doing the last round of his leg, which round number 5 is 3 single stitches, a decrease, and then 5 single stitches. And then again, we are going to fasten off, leave a tail, and then I also like to stuff his feet. But you are going to be making 2 of these legs, or feet, whatever one you want to call them. But again, so either rewind it in the description below. You can always just poke on leg. It will take you back to exactly where we started, and then we will sew them onto the body here in just a minute. I also want to say, like, leave a long enough bit of a tail because we're not only sewing on the foot, we are going to be shaping the foot just a little tiny bit. Okay, so now we are doing his tie. To do his tie, again, magic circle, and we are going to be doing 5 stitches inside of that magic circle. And I'm so sorry if you guys hear Elmo and my kids in the background right now. I am trying to keep the noise level at a minimum, but they are fighting over toys at the moment, so I apologize. Okay, so if you are following along with the writing, I am not going to put the round for this one. All of this is just round number 2. So for the first stitch of round number 2, you're going to do an increase, and then you're going to chain 4, and then we're going to slip stitch down 4. The 4th slip stitch will be right back into the body because I don't like to leave holes, and I don't like to sew later on. I don't know if that's lazy or what, but just work smarter, not harder. And then for the second stitch of row number 2, it is a single stitch, and then again 4, chain 4, and then slip stitch down 4. The 4th slip stitch is again working straight back into that chain, or the original single crochet. And then the 3rd stitch in row number 2 is just an increase, and then we're going to move on to a single crochet, and then you're going to chain 4 again, go slip stitch down, and then make sure that last slip stitch is into the tie. Now we're working in the last one, which is going to be an increase. Then you're going to chain 4, slip stitch down 4, and then you are going to fasten off, and then we are gearing up to sew into his body after we make his shirt or his vest, whichever one you want to call it. All right, so the first row of the vest, we are going to be chaining 6, and this is the last thing we are making for this little guy. I am so excited that we are almost done. So after we chain 6, you are going to start working in the second stitch from the hook, and we are going to be doing 5 single crochet. And then you are going to chain 1 and turn. And now row number 2 or 3, we are going to be doing a decrease and 3 single crochet. And then again, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now row number 4, we are going to be doing a decrease and then 2 single stitches. And then again, chain 1 and turn. Row number 5, we are now going to just do a decrease and then a single stitch, and then again, chain 1 and turn. in row number 6, we are now just going to do a regular decrease and then chain 1 and turn. And then after you do that, we are going to just do a regular single stitch. And now we are going to be going around the whole entire vest to make it straight and even. Here's a picture. For reference, we are going to be doing 4 single crochet and then increase on the corners of all of it. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and now you want to increase in that corner, and then you're going to do that again 2 more times. Okay, and once you're done with that last increase on the corner, we are going to leave a long tail for sewing, and I like to cover up that color changing area. You don't have to. You can put it wherever on the body that you would like. I personally just like to hide that little bit. And then I go in and I start sewing from that corner, and I go about 2 to 3 stitches away, just so I can go back and then go again 2 to 3 stitches away, and that's just how I personally sew. And now that we're on the corner, I like to kind of go out a little bit, and then I like to take that corner, pull it tight, and then I go underneath it, just so I can try to get it as straight as I can. That is just how I do it. This is your guys' little skeleton king. You can sew this vest on however you want. Okay, so now I didn't leave a long enough tail, so I'm just going to add another piece of the white here. I'm going to tie them together, and then I am just going to weave them in so they are not going to be loose. If you happen to have to do the same thing, I'm so sorry, but then just continue on like normal, and then kind of make sure that the corners can be pulled straight. Okay, and then once you're done with the vest, you can sew down the middle part if you'd like. I personally only do about 1 stitch, and then I just start weaving it in as much as I can. And then now we are going to sew on his tie. Okay, so now for his tie, make sure that little piece that we weren't able to weave in is tucked underneath. And then I personally do not like to sew down the little parts that are sticking up to the tie. I don't know what you would call them, but just his little, like, what adds the character to the tie. I don't like to do that. I just sew down the circle part, just because I don't know who will be wanting to get this skeleton king. It's a great sensory thing. If a little kid has it, or somebody who just likes that, or anybody with autism, I think it's great for sensory. But if this is your plushie, it's up to you. If you want to sew down those little characteristics of his tie is what I'm going to go with, do that. But again, I like to go about 2 to 3 stitches away, and then backtrack, and then just keep going around like that, and then weave the tie into the body. That way it is secure, and then you want to make sure that you tug on everything, so if anything comes out, you can fix it now. And then that way also if you're working with Chanel yarn, it gets more of the fuzzies off that are going to come off anyways. Okay, so now we are going to be sewing on the arms. They're going to go about right where I was pointing. I like to do the arms first because I base the legs off of the arms. They're just going to be parallel down to the arms. But the arms will be sewn on between rows 10 and 12, and you want to make it about 1 to 2 stitches away from the vest. I like to start sewing on 3 stitches away from the vest just so I have wiggle room to have 1 to 2 stitches after it's all sewed on. And then again, you want to weave it into the body when you're done. But a little tip that I like to do to make it look a little bit more flushed is, if you can see in the video, I go from the outside in with the needle and then I go into the body afterwards, just so it looks a little bit more flushed and nothing is raised. And that's just how I personally do it. But again, your plushie, you sew on Skeleton King's arms however you'd like to. And then now we are going to do his other arm. Again, it's going to be between rows 10 and 12. And we are going to do 1 to 2 single crochet away from the vest. And then before you finish weaving in his arms, make sure it does look pretty even to the other arm. You don't want one being too far forward compared to the other side being like too far back or anything like that, because a stitch can make a difference. And I just want to say I am trying my hardest to keep him in the frame for you guys. If he slips out of the frame at any point during me sewing, I apologize. He will get back in there. But thank you so much. I'm so excited. What is the next Halloween buddy that I have that you guys would like to be making? Because I think I'm going to start uploading Tuesdays and Fridays, not just Fridays, because I have so much I want to share with you guys. And this little white that's peeking through is just from his arm from me stuffing it in there. So I'm just going to pull it through, and then after I'm done sewing, I'm going to go back in and then I'm going to stuff it back into his arm. And then again, you want to pull as hard as you can. Okay, not as hard as you can. You don't want to break him. But you want to pull pretty hard on him to make sure that nothing is going to fall off. No stitches are going to come loose. And if some fluffies come out, they're going to come out. It would be awesome now to have them come out than later. But just make sure you are tugging on everything just so you know everything's in place and it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so now we are going to be sewing on his legs. Go from the bottom and count up to row 4, and you want to go in between rows 4 and 5 for this first stitch. And then the leg will be sewn on between rows 4 and 7, parallel down to the arms. You can go in a little bit more with his legs. I personally just like it when they're parallel. But again, all of my plushies are different, so some of them do have the legs a little closer. So do you, but make sure that you are sewing his legs onto his body even as well. You don't want his one leg to be up like higher than the other leg. And again, with this one, I like to go from the outside of his leg down into the body. I didn't stuff enough of his leg, so we're going to stuff a little bit more. If you didn't stuff at all, like this is a great time about 2 stitches away to stuff. Now how we are going to form the foot a little bit, you're going to go from wherever you are into the body, out the magic circle. Here, you will see that in just a second. And then you are going to go about 1 stitch over any direction that you want. I think I went down for both of these feet. And then you're going to go back into the body and then pull it a little tight. You don't want to break the string, but just pull it a little bit tight and then fasten, like weave in that yarn, and that is it. Like you can see how much flatter it is. This is just optional. If you don't want to do this, perfectly fine. But now just weave in that little part. Again, you're going to find the magic circle, and then we're going to count up to row number 4, and then in between rows 4 and 5, you're going to make that first little stitch, and then the leg will be sewn on between rows 4 and 7. Forgot to say earlier, I like to make sure that the decreases are in the front. If you are sewing it on how I described it, it will be. And that's just having the tail on row 4 instead of on top of, like, on row 7. And then I'm sorry, you guys, my phone died. It cut out at this part. So just make sure you follow weaving everything in. And now we're going to do his eyes. And for the sake of the video, people who do not have a Cricut, we are going to cut it. If you have a Cricut, go ahead and use whatever shape you would like on the Cricut. But we are going to be getting felt, and we are going to get heat and bond. Everything will be linked in the description below, so you can just snag it there if you'd like. But we are going to be putting the heat and bond onto the felt, and then we are going to be cutting a good size square out of the felt. And with that square, I kind of like to see if it did look pretty good, because if not, I will use it on something else and I'll cut another square out. But I cut that square in half, a rough estimate of a half. This was not even close. But now we are going to cut kind of like a ovally shape All of my eyes, you will see here when we go to add all of the detailing, are different. The video of the detailing is something that I made before, so it's not the exact plushie we're making, so the eyes will be a little bit different. But do whatever shape you want to do. If you want him to look a little bit sadder, I think these eyes to me look a little sad, but it's up to you. You could make him look sad, you can make him look angry, you can just have straight up circles for eyes. It is up to you. If you don't even want to use felt, you can use crochet eyes that you crochet with. You can try to embroider some eyes on, and you also can use some safety eyes. I'm not sure what size you would use. I think maybe 23 to 25 millimeters would look pretty good. But with the heat and bond, after you cut your shape, you are just going to peel that back, put it where you want it, put some parchment paper over it, and then iron it on. And then if the yarn looks flat, you can just like scrape it like I just did there, and it will look pretty good. Don't hold it on too long though, you don't want to burn your yarn. Alright, so now we are going to be embroidering the face, and we are going to be adding some white lines to his pants. You could do the eye shape, any eye shape you'd like. These are all actually different shapes. With this eye shape, I think I'm going to go with more of like this kind of a smile than this. But if you want to do this one, all it is looping, like threading the stitch from this stitch to here, over into this stitch, and then you want to go down here and then kind of like make it a V shape how you would a little plushie, and then go in and do the stitching how I'm about to show you. If you just want like the normal basic smile, we're going to be doing it with this kind of stitching, and it is a little bit different. So let's get to it. So we are going to be taking our black cotton yarn, and I like to cut more than what I actually need because I'd rather have more than not enough. So now we're gonna thread our needle in here. This is where we are gonna meet up later to tie it off. So now I'm gonna go in through here, and then I'm gonna meet it down here. So that takes care of this. And then in order to get that stitching done, I'm gonna thread it through here, and then I'm gonna move about over there. You're just shaping it how you want the mouth to be. Oops. And then to close this hole, you want to put it back through this loop, and then I want to kind of be symmetrical. So we're gonna go right there. And then we're gonna thread this one through, and then I'm gonna come back up, finishing off the smile. And then I'm gonna go up to the stitch above where we just finished off, and we're going to start the actual stitches, like the stitching of his mouth now. So I'm gonna go down. It's about like 1, maybe 2 stitches. I try to cover each of these little bulletins plus 1 because I want my guy to have like extra stitches in his face, but again, it's up to you. This is your little skeleton king, and he could look however he wants to. To me personally, I think the more stitches the better, but that is my own opinion. We're gonna do another stitch before we finish off. And now with this last stitch here, I'm gonna be bringing it as close as I can into the middle. And now what we're doing is we're gonna go down. It's in the same stitch, but on the opposite side of it. And then we're gonna go through to the stitch next to it. We are forming his nose holes. And then I like to just meet up Oh, I lost my glasses. And there you have it. That's what this little guy's face is gonna look like. I personally like all of them to be a little bit different. Okay, so now moving on to his pants, like we are gonna take a lot of cotton white, and if you think you have enough, you probably don't. You should probably have a little bit more, because we are going everywhere with this thing. I personally like to start right here where the colors began. And I also don't go and start using all of this yarn. I leave it so I can do the other side later on. It's also easier as you're moving. And then you're gonna go straight down to the center, and in that magic circle we created, you're going to loop it through and pull through. That way it doesn't move when you're going on. And then from here, I like to just go back the same way because it covers, like I know it's gonna cover it and it won't have that little block if I were to go forward. So we're gonna just go backwards. So I like to go about 1 to 2 spaces apart. It does not need to be perfect. Again, it's a handmade item. And then from here, again, we're gonna come down, meet in the magic circle. Maybe. Oh, come on. There we go. And pull it. And then we're gonna go and try to cover that line up again. So about 1 to 2 stitches apart. You can go further if you'd like. If you want to have a lot of white stitches, like definitely go closer. I personally like to only have a little bit. Like that's a little too close for my taste. And now before I start doing the arm, we're gonna go down and do the back side of his leg. Oops. Flipping over everything. And now we're gonna go up, and here is where it gets a little bit different. So you're gonna go through a stitch, if you can find one, and instead of pulling it all the way tight, go through it first and loop it. That way it will still be in the same straight line. And then you want to go up to where you went and work through the back loop only, because the sole of his foot should not be white because he stepped on the ground, you know. And then you're gonna go through the other side and then do that again, go through a single stitch, and then you want to go through that line so it lines up perfectly when you go up, and then again through a stitch, go through that line again, and then we're gonna go straight through his arm. And then before I actually go down, ooh, I missed that. Before we actually go down and finish here, I am gonna finish his arm. So instead of going through here, actually go a little bit off to the side, and then you wanna go down. I like to have about 6 stitches on his arms. So that just created 3. And then down and around, here's 4. That wasn't far enough. And then here, down and around, that's 5. And then now we're gonna finish this arm off to create 6. Oops. There we go. To create 6. So now same thing here. I'm gonna go down, and then we're back into the foot. We're gonna be now working same thing that we just did into the leg. So now We already have that one. So this would technically be 3. I think that was 4, if I could count, I don't know. Possibly 5. I miscount, you guys, sorry. Let's say this is probably 6. It might be 7. And then back into the magic circle. And so now we're gonna go back up and we're gonna meet somewhere in his vest. You could either go closer or you can go far away. How I am doing it, I personally just love the way it looks when it's about 2 stitches apart, but I know everybody is different. And then we're gonna go down, meet in that magic circle, and then since I am running out of yarn, I'm gonna leave it here, and now I'm gonna go pick up that other side that I said was saved for later. And now we're gonna do the same exact thing, but with this side. So we're gonna start over here, about 2 stitches apart, go down, meet in the magic circle. Ooh, sorry, it's out of frame there for a second. And then we're gonna go up, back behind the arm, and then we're doing it opposite this time. So we're gonna start in the arm first and not the leg. So make sure you do your loop and pull through so it's a straight line. And then go through the arm. That was 1. Go down and through for 2. Go up onto the other side for 3. Down and around for 4. And then, oh, see, that stitch is a little too close. And come on, 5. There we go. And number 5. And now we're going to go down here to the bottom to create number 6. We're going to loop it and pull it down. Kind of got it away a little bit. And then we're going to go down to his foot. Pull it, loop it through so it stays away. And then again, we're going to work in the foot only since we're almost done. So let's finish his foot off, go through his back loops, go down and around, so that created 2, go up and around, 3, down and around, 4, up and around, 5, and here is 6. We're gonna meet to the bottom of the leg. We're gonna bring that over to make it a straight line. And then one of the last times we're going to be going through the magic circle, you're gonna loop it through, and then you're gonna go up, and then we are gonna meet kind of up here in the middle, right? Yeah, up here in the middle, and meeting down in his vest. And then pulling it through his magic circle. Let me see. Can I go up and down again? No. Okay, so that is it. That's all I am going to be adding to this little guy. Of course, like I've said before, you could definitely add in some more stitches or even less stitches if you want him to be more in a black outfit than a black and white. And then you're just going to tie it off and pull it through that magic circle. And you're going to act like it never existed. And boom! that is your little guy. And like I've said, each little one is different, like going across from like the mouths, even the nostrils, the eyes, like make it to personally fit you. This is just what I personally do. And make sure you like and subscribe and come back for next Friday.